Hello everybody and welcome. We are here to talk about universities, colleges and how it impacts students in our school. We thank you for tuning in and watching our podcast, Advanced Learning School podcast. And we would like to also remind you of our 20th year anniversary that's taking place this year, and we are looking forward to a wonderful celebration throughout the year of the hard work and accomplishments of students from many, many years. So what we'd like to do first is introduce ourselves, and then from there we're just planning to answer some questions to help yourself and others benefit from this podcast. So firstly, I'll introduce Samira, who would like to just basically say a few things about herself.
Yeah, thank you, Hamza. Assalamu alaikum, and a very warm welcome from both of us counsellors to the ALS podcast. As Hamza said, we're very excited because it's for our 20th anniversary. It's such a big milestone for us. As Hamza said, my name is Samira Mohammed. I've been a counsellor here, college counsellor here at the school for 3 years. And I've been supporting our students to make informed choices and to equip them with the tools to make the best choice for their futures. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to just introduce myself now. My name is Hamza Mahoney. I'm the boys counsellor here. I've been here for a few months now. I'm truly enjoying my role. I bring many years of experience to the role, as well as a passion to help students, parents, to give the best they can towards their futures. Now, we have a number of questions here at the moment that have been given to us by parents and students. And what we're going to do is read through the questions, and then we're going to answer them together.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the first question. The first question is, what are some of the main things students could start thinking about at this time of the year when it comes to university planning? So wonderful question, isn't it, Samira?
It is. It's a busy time for us, right?
It really is a busy time.
What do you think, Hamza, for you? What are some of the main things?
I would direct the answer of the question to, let's say, our grade 12 students. A number of things they can think about would be, firstly, what they would like to do, who they are, what do they enjoy doing in terms of hobbies, most importantly, academic preference. Would you think of any other things as well?
Yeah, I think following on from what you've said, absolutely, our grade 12s take priority because it's that year where they start making the applications, they start thinking really seriously about the choices that they make.
Yeah.
But also, in addition to that, our grade 9 students, about the sort of personalities they have, the sort of choices they will make. Our grade 10 students, our grade 11 students that do aptitude tests. So across the board, I would say it's a really important start to the year where we talk about routines, about behaviour, about grades. So everything mixed together.
You know, on top of those things, Samira, I think it's so important for not just students, but predominantly parents to also have some sort of indication of what their budget is, you know, as well as an idea of if they are prepared to send their young ones who are almost adults abroad, or for them to stay locally. And this sometimes is impacted by brothers and sisters of students who are currently in the school, who have graduated and who are alumni, who are studying in different parts of the world, from the UK to Canada, the USA, and the Far East. So answering that question is, you know, what you said, Samira, and myself, there's a number of factors involved, you know, towards making the decisions moving forward. Moving on to our next question, and this is a question I get a lot. Is it too early to start talking about careers, universities and colleges? And I would answer it simply, no, it's never too early to start talking, exploring and finding out about universities, colleges and future pathways. And I know, Samira, you have a lot of activities going on in the school from previous years. Maybe you can just enlighten us on those activities which have helped the students and parents.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question says, is it ever too early to start thinking about universities and future plans? Actually, I would say we're lifelong learners. We're always learning. There's always room for learning. There's always space for learning. Even if you're a student, if you're a teacher, if you're a parent, it's never too late to start learning. And our activities in the school kind of reflect that. We offer career fairs, we offer PSAT exams, we offer after school clubs, we offer a range of things through careers and through other avenues for everybody to be a learner at any time of their life. And we commend students for that. Just going nicely into the next question, for students who are just starting to think about university options, what's the first step you recommend? And I think we've partly answered that.
We've partly answered that already, but let's just maybe dissect and, include a few other things. I'd say initially the honesty of oneself is so important. And I get this a lot when students have, ambitions to become doctors or lawyers, and they, for example, are not reading enough books, are not putting enough effort into their academic studies, or, for example, they are in a situation whereby they want to accomplish it, however, they are unsure. And I would say, basically, it's so important to follow your dreams. However, it's so important to be honest with yourself.
Absolutely. I would say, Hamza, definitely echoing that. As a careers counsellor, I think the first thing that we do is make sure our students are realistic, are insightful. We welcome all sorts of aspirations in terms of, that if they want to be a doctor, absolutely, we will support them. But at the same time, as counsellors, we're always realistic. And we like to sometimes bring our students back to reality, but also, supporting them in their ambitions. So there's two ways, two things here as counsellors, that we're honest, and we like our students to be honest as well, and realistic and insightful as well.
Yeah, absolutely. With the alumni, cohorts that we had over the years and the information that I've been shared, from yourself, Samira, our alumni have accomplished wonderful things, attended some prestigious universities, and are now, actively successful individuals in different paradigms and in different professions within society, locally, and also abroad. And I think that's just testament to themselves, putting in that hard work and being completely honest with themselves. What's the next question, Samira?
The next one is, how can younger students, grade 9 to 10, for example, start preparing without feeling overwhelmed? And I think we've sort of answered it.
Have we shared the idea and plan that we're working on? I think it's a good time to maybe share it with the audience. What we are planning to do, Samira, myself, and Ms. Tanya, the IB coordinator, is we are planning to introduce into the younger grades, from grades 8, 9, 10, 11, and even 12, classes whereby, as what Samira said and I've said, they start to learn to understand who they are, understand the process of applying for universities and colleges, as well as, most importantly, the transition of moving into the DP diploma or the IB diploma that helps them, as well as understanding the different subjects that's available within that curriculum. And I think this is ideally targeted for the younger students, because it helps them when we give them the information bit by bit. It helps them to slowly walk in that journey, moving forward with the great support of ourselves. And I think that's so important to highlight.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, just answering that question, I've done personality tests with students. I've spoken to grade 9 about, how their grades will impact the overall GPA as well. So the importance of their behaviour, the importance of how hard they work at grade 9, and also what their personalities are like, preparing them for grade 10. So that they can make an informed choice about choosing the subjects they want, that would lead to the careers that they want.
And then, moving on from that, what we've done, myself and Samira, we've decided to, introduce more university fairs into the school. And with the university fairs, we've opened them up to the younger grades from 9 onwards up to 12, as well as inviting parents. And, we had a wonderful, enriching discussion many times about there is no harm and there is complete benefit in really inviting students and parents into these wonderful events where they're able to basically, one, get awareness and knowledge of what's outside as well as locally. They're also able to be in a situation whereby they're practicing, when they meet university representatives, they're practicing in order to ask the right questions at the right time, what's most important for them, in addition to the students and the parents themselves, then have that collaborative ability, to make the decisions, as well as, coming back to myself and Samira and asking questions that they feel are important to them. Samira, what type of questions, do you prep students for in terms of attending these fairs?
Yeah, thanks Hamza for that. Whenever we've had university fairs at the school, and for the past 3 years, the feedback that we've got from the university representatives and the delegates have always been, your students are so polite, they ask all the right questions, they know what they want. And I always say to the reps that, a lot of preparation goes into that. There's always classroom visits, there's always emails, there's always talking to the students directly, speaking to them about representing the school, giving a good impression, asking appropriate questions, for them to think about what courses they may want to study at those universities. What are the entry requirements? How would life be in terms of living there? What opportunities do they have for cultural and religious obligations at the university? And also financial obligations as well. So we prepare, I know I've been preparing students for the past 3 years, and so far, whenever the universities have come, it's been so beneficial. And likewise, the students also come back and say, Miss, we got a lot of information from the universities. We've benefited from the university fairs, and that's a result of a two-way exchange. And it's always really beneficial and positive to hear that.
Absolutely. And in terms, of students attending these meetings and parents attending these meetings, what I share with the students is, in any capacity you're able to make notes, if it's on paper, if it's on an app on a phone, a voice recorder, make as many notes as you can for yourself as reminders. In addition to that, take business cards, send emails to the university representatives, because while students are journeying through the decision process of where to go and why, there'll always be a lot of questions coming up. And what myself and Samira do is the following, is that we do help yourselves, students from ALS, and we do help parents as well, interlink with university representatives, whereby we're able to have video calls and you're able to talk directly to reps if you haven't attended university fairs. We have a lot of questions here.
I know.
It's great because, it really shows just how involved the students and parents are in school. So what's the next question? Choosing the right university.
Yeah, what factors?
You go ahead.
Thank you, Hamza. Yeah. What factors should students consider when deciding which universities to apply to? We've got things like location, major, ranking, culture.
Yes.
I would say, Hamza, that we take all those things into consideration when we're speaking to the students. We also, look at the current situation as well. We very, I know in my work, and I know Hamza as well, we very in tune with the culture here, the family wishes, and also any kind of, things that we need to consider when we're advising the students. We're very honest with the students. We're very, as you said, we work with the families. to see what their wishes are in terms of location, in majors, in terms of the cultural things that they'd like. So I think these are all factors that we take into account, not just from the student, but also from the parent, right?
Absolutely, and I'd even add to that, as Saudi is changing and as, Vision 2030, we do basically remind the students of their responsibility to themselves, to family, to society, and we embed that mentality of they can accomplish whatever they can if they put the work in. And many factors basically for students, as I was talking to students in grade 9 and 10, many factors are, let's say, they're presented by themselves. Because many universities around the world do have scholarships for students, do provide students with the ability of a transition period with additional support, do understand, students coming from our school and their needs. And I think that's so important,
In terms of, another thing I want to add to that, Hamza, we both counsellors, but we work on different campuses. I work on the girls' campus, Hamza works on the boys' campus. And one major factor that we do take into consideration when choosing universities is also gender. When I'm advising the girls, I will be always mindful of their safety. That takes priority for me. I'm sure Hamza, generally we take safety, we take, how compatible the campus is. And everything very, very importantly, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As I'm talking with the grade 12s, something that keeps on coming up is, student accommodation, especially in the UK, especially in Ireland, where there are big challenges in terms of, housing individuals. And I remind students that, you have to be very conscious of student accommodation in terms of the distance of it, the location of it, and also the duration. Because many universities and colleges will provide and promise students of first year, accommodation, but then what happens afterwards? So it's always good, and what we are doing is we're linking in our alumni who graduated from 2009 onwards with our current students. So our students are able to get vital information from their own peers, which is something that is a wonderful program that we're doing, Moving on to the next question. What if a student doesn't know yet what they would like to study? Is that normal or not? And I'd say let's target it to grade 12s. What do you think, Samira?
I think it's absolutely normal.
Absolutely.
Our students are really, really at a stage where they may be torn between so many ideas. They've got influences from parents, they've got influences from siblings, from cousins, from peers. So it's not unusual that they would come and they will say, well, Miss, I don't know what I want to study. However, we are equipped with the skills to extract what their qualities are, what their likes are, what their dislikes are. We use tests like personality tests and career tools. We use Unifrog, which has all those tools on there, and it's a platform we have at our school. And we allow them and support them to make a very, very well-informed decision, even though they may not know it.
Absolutely. Even adding to everything you're saying, Samira, we also, have embedded this culture in the school whereby students are exposed to students from other schools in other countries, doing different activities and events like the MUNs. And this gives students the ability to basically interact, communicate, share ideas and passions, So I think even at grade 12, if a student is unsure about what he or she would like to study, and I'll direct it to the individuals who are watching right now, don't panic. It's absolutely okay. You have a great team of individuals here who are passionate about supporting you, and all you need to do is reach out and be completely honest. You really do. In terms of the application process, and there's so many application processes out there for universities. We have the UK UCAS application process, the USA Common App application process, we have individual universities, we have the USA European universities, local. So there's many different variety of application process. All wonderful questions. I'll let you, Samira, just continue with them.
Yeah, sure. So one of the questions is, how can students start exploring their interests, and figure out, figure them out really? How would you say students start exploring?
I'd say, what I tend to do with students is an Excel sheet in terms of what you dislike and what you may not want to study. And this is for those individuals who have really no idea what they would like to study. So let's start to, go through a step-by-step process of elimination. Because once they begin to get an idea of what they don't want to study, I then also ask them what subjects they've chosen in IB, why did they study that, why did they choose those subjects, and what are they feeling and exploring and benefiting from these subjects at the moment. And I tend to find, that interaction with students in the academic platform as well as the social platform, which you'll talk about in a moment, really does enable us to support the students, during those moments of uncertainty. And you were going to talk about the social aspects, Samira. Would you like to continue?
I think the way I work, a little bit on the other side, when I'm working with students to explore their interests and figure them out, as I said, we've got the personality tests that give them the first thing about their traits and what have you. But apart from that, I always advise our students for summer programs, for winter programs. I ask them to go there to participate, to see if that's what they like. And sometimes they come back and they feedback, Miss, you sent us to a brilliant summer program. We explored so many things. And yes, I know now for sure this is the subject that I want to explore, or this is the career that I want to explore. And then sometimes they say, no, we tried it, Miss. And that's certainly not what I want to do. So again, that's another way of elimination and also exploring, what your skills are. One of the questions on here following that, Hamza, is can they wait or decide later, or do they need, should they know, should they, even should they still apply even if they're unsure? My doing this here at this school at ALS for the past 3 years, I would say that, we will only, and the way I work is work with students on applications when they are certain to an extent that they know that yes, this is what I would like. How would it be further down the line? But also with the admission that once you do start a course, you can always speak to your careers counsellor once you're at the institution, or somebody there at the university if you wanted to change major or wanted to move into something else. It does happen. Then the door is always open for you to move and change as well. I don't know whether that's different for you, Hamza.
No, it's absolutely very similar. And I'd even add one thing, what we do behind the scenes is we prep and prepare students. We expose them to, the different application processes around the world. We give them information on what, for example, will take place in an interview, with students as well as, university representatives, so with that type of exposure, in grades 10 and 11 and then early periods in grade 12, they have the tools whereby, as when they come to that point, as what Ms. Samira was actually saying, they are, capable and knowledgeable and confident enough, to take that step. And it's a big step, to take that step, committing themselves to an application, because it's a reflection on themselves of certainty. And as I said to students, who've already applied, at the moment, basically you need to celebrate this moment. It's a milestone. It really is,
We would, the preparation is so important for us as counsellors. The students for us, their future is an amana for us. And, this will affect their lifelong choices, and we would never ever, send our students that are unsure or are not prepared to make an application for something that could impact the rest of their future. So, we're confident that we're doing a good job.
Absolutely, 100% confident, and we are 200% passionate about what we do. We really are. moving on to the next questions. The application process. What would you say, Samira, in your experience, are the biggest challenges students face during the university application process?
Yeah, Hamza, I think one of the biggest challenges students face, first of all, is the uncertainty of knowing, am I going to get into this course? Am I going to get an offer? And one of the biggest challenges I think students face, from my experience, sometimes is, bridging that gap between the predicted grades and what they feel that they're going to get as well. And, just for them sometimes to accept that this is the level I'm working at the moment, and maybe I can improve, maybe I can, work on myself, and also understanding that it is a process.
Yeah.
It's a lengthy process, but you get what you put in, you get out what you put in. And I think that's a big challenge for our students. They breeze through every aspect that the IB is rigorous. It prepares them for writing, for applications, for things like that. So they're already quite well prepared and at par with that. But it's just small little things, that uncertainty that sometimes is a big challenge, or not knowing information about visas or finance. Sometimes I think they panic, but we're here to support
Absolutely, Samira. It's so true, that uncertainty in students, and I think understanding the uncertainty really enables us to really support them during that period of the application process, because with the uncertainty there's a lot of excitement. And there's a lot of impatience as well. When will I get my response back? Why is it taking so long? Have I done enough? And there's a lot of questioning. And I think what I tend to do with my students on the boys section is I really try and slow them down. Just remind them that they've done the best they can. And with university applications, you are not going to always get successful responses as yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes the greatest learnings coming from this journey is in the answers from the universities in terms of conditional answers or even rejections.
Absolutely. And an important thing that I always tell students is that every rejection is a redirection. And I always bring in, a little bit of the Islamic aspects in that Allah will place you where you are meant to be. Sometimes they get, our students get, a little bit disheartened when there is a rejection. But I always try and reassure them that, there is something else, there's other applications, there's something else we can always do. And that's such an important part of applications, Hamza, that we always ask them to have backups, right?
100%.
We always speak to them about having backups, having a plan B, and taking everything on, not just individually, but we're always there to support them.
Absolutely.
Right?
It goes on, basically in terms of the support, the resources and the guidance we provide students is not just in the application process, and is not just in preparation for the interviews, it's also in the personal statements, it's in scholarship applications, it's in reminding the students basically to explore within. Because I know, we had again a conversation whereby sometimes students aren't aware of what they can include, in university application statements. And with students here, at Advanced Learning School, students doing TOK and extended essays and been involved in, summer camps and other local programs, they have a wealth of experience.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's just a matter of, supporting and encouraging them and reminding them that that's the right thing to include in a university application.
Reassurance.
Absolutely, reassurance. Now, we've got a few more questions. Moving on to final advice. What's one place of advice you'd give students starting the process now? Ooh, that's an interesting question. What would I share with a student who's started the process now? I would remind them that there's no time like the present, you know, to be completely honest with yourself. It's okay not to know. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to ask lots of questions, and it's okay to bring it back to the present. And you know, Samira, very well, like myself, sometimes students are journeying many years ahead of where they're actually at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the one piece of advice I would give to our students at ALS, trust the process. You've got a team of counsellors behind you that will always think in your best interests, and will always honestly give you the best advice. And also to families as well. Our families here at ALS, I know your parents, I know you're worried, but you have us to support you. And you know, that's a valuable piece of advice I'd give to our students, that, you know, you've got school that will prepare you, you've got counsellors that will support you, and that's the best thing we can do as counsellors for you.
Absolutely. And in terms of parents, you know, what message would we give to parents, you know, how they can best support their sons and daughters? I'll let you answer that first, because I answered the last question first.
Okay, Hamza, thanks. To parents of daughters at our school, as a counsellor, I reassure you that, you know, I will do the best I can to support your daughters. I will always take your opinion and your aspirations into account. Safety is important, respect is important for us when making these decisions, and family honour as well. So to parents, we would say, trust us, because after you, we are the ones that will take that on ourselves. And as I used the words before, an amana, you know, your children are an amana to us. They're a property for us that we need to safeguard and, you know, help them and support them to make effective choices for their future.
Absolutely. I find it very hard to add anything from what Samira just said, but I would say, you know, in echoing Samira, we do truly want the best for the students, and the one advice I'd have for parents is communicate with myself and Samira as much as you need, with as many questions as you have. You're always welcome to connect with us via email, reach out to us over the telephone. You're able to visit us when you need. We have a wonderful program that we are going to be continuing doing, you know, which is Careers Coffee Morning. And it's just basically a half an hour to an hour meeting once a month where you're able to visit, you know, ourselves as well as Miss Tanya, and basically you're able to have an informal conversation about your child, where they're at, their needs, and the next steps.
Sometimes we do tell our students that, you know, we can be quite tough on them, but that doesn't mean that, you know, we're against their aspirations. That's all part and parcel of the journey of us being bringing it back to reality, being insightful and being realistic with them, because the last thing we'd like to do is set the students up to fail. And I always remind students that, you know, we've been students respectively in our own rights, and we've been through the process. So we've gone through, we understand how you feel. We've moved from our countries. Hamza's from Ireland, I'm from the UK. So we've come into a place where we had to learn and fend for ourselves and look after ourselves. So we always give ourselves as examples as well.
Absolutely. You know, we give ourselves as examples. We remind students of the alumni. We remind students of their parents, you know, and we remind students, most importantly, that they're able to achieve, they're able to accomplish, and they're able to aspire here at Advanced Learning Schools. And thank you very much for watching this video. We appreciate your support, and you're always welcome to connect with us.
And happy 20th anniversary to ALS.
Absolutely.
Thank you.